I was tagged on this story on Twitter, and it is coming out of New York, and this is going to be a case of palm-colored privilege to a T. So in this picture, you see a man by the name of Christopher Seamans. He's 41 years old, and he is what you call a serial bank robber. So basically, the story goes that this man has been convicted 3 times of robbing banks. Let's focus on that 3 times part. Remember what was enacted back in the 90s, the 3 strikes law, the crime bill that was spearheaded by Bill Clinton, but also helped created by Jim Crow Joe? Now, would he fall under that back then or not? I'm going to go with the latter and say hell nah. Because look at him. Now, I just did another video about a black man who is currently in prison to this day since 1982 over $9. This man right here stole way more than $9 on multiple occasions. 3 times convicted, which means he's been in and out of jail 3 times. And get this, he's about to be out a 4th time because he just got released under something called the New York reform laws. Now, how about that? They had stop and frisk all over New York throughout the 90s that was going after mainly black men. I guess you can sprinkle some brown men in there as well, but we know who their primary targets were. Are they going to be, eligible for the reform laws that New York got going on? I'm going to go ahead and just answer my own question and say no. We know that they aren't. I'm going to go ahead and read this article. It says, a 3-time convicted bank robber was released from jail without bail for his 4th robbery charge on Tuesday. Look at that. Without bail. That means he didn't even have to pay to get released. They just opened up the door and he walked right on out. A 3-time convicted bank robber was released from jail without bond just days after being arrested for yet another bank robbery. Let's look at that. Just days after his latest robbery. Not months, not a year, but days after he did it. Albany County Court Judge William Carter released 41-year-old Christopher Seamans on his own recognizance on Tuesday afternoon after prosecutors told the judge that he qualified for no bond release under the state's new criminal justice reform laws, the Times-Union reported. Police arrested Seamans on December 28, 2019 in connection with a robbery at Pioneer Savings Bank the day prior, the Colony Police Department, CPD, said in a Facebook post. According to investigators, Seaman kept his hand inside his pocket as he barged into the bank and demanded that a teller hand over the cash. He made off with an undisclosed amount of money. Investigators posted surveillance photos of the suspect online in an effort to identify him and received a slew of tips from the public. Seamans was ultimately taken into custody by the New York State Police Department and the DeWitt Police Department and has been charged with 3rd-degree robbery and 4th-degree larceny. Investigators found evidence related to the robbery inside his residence and vehicle, but the cash he stole from the bank has not been recovered. In 2005, Seamans was sentenced to 4 years in prison for robbing banks in New Jersey and New York. He robbed another bank in New York in 2010 and was sentenced to almost 5 years in prison on that case. Seamans was most recently released from prison on December 17, 2017. Despite his extensive criminal history and the fact that the cash he allegedly stole has not been recovered, Seamans was allowed to walk out of jail without bond on New Year's Eve. In light of the interest of the new bail discovery reform for 2020, here's an early example. CPD's post read, "Happy New Year, everyone, especially happy for our most recent bank robber." I don't know if that person is being sarcastic or if they're feeling joyful about that, but I would not feel very joyful knowing that I just released a person after being convicted 4 times of robbery. New York's so-called criminal justice reform laws went into effect on New Year's Day. Offenders found in possession of a wide array of weapons, including guns, switchblades, swords, machetes, and stun guns, will now be issued a desk appearance ticket and set free. The New York City Police Benevolent Association pointed out in a Facebook post in December. So they just about to let all these hardened criminals back on the street. You know what this reminds me of? Who remembers in The Dark Knight Rises when all those criminals got out of jail and they were just running and roaming the streets basically doing Bane's bidding? That's what it's going to turn into. And ironically, that movie, The Dark Knight Rises, was shot partially in New York. Lawmakers also eliminated cash bail for hundreds of other criminal charges, including stalking, arson, resisting arrest, money laundering in support of terrorism, rioting, vehicular assault, unlawful imprisonment, negligent homicide, and a slew of drug-related charges. Well, in that case, why even have prisons in the state of New York? And then it's an election year, too. I got to take that into consideration, too. Whenever they have them election years, it's always some kind of whatever just happening and going on that doesn't make a lick of sense. Criminal offenses against children, including child abuse, promoting child prostitution, facilitating female genital mutilation, and possessing or promoting a sexual performance with a child, will also be treated with a mandatory release. Are y'all hearing this right now? Okay, this story has just gone beyond just what this guy got released for or what he did. Now we're going into a whole nother sphere, a whole nother realm of Twilight Zoneisms. I know I just made that up right now on the spot. Are y'all hearing the list of things that people could be released for? These are some heavy crimes that people can just walk out of jail for if they feel deemed fit to walk out of the prison. Obstructing governmental duties by means of a bomb, killing a police canine or horse, or obstructing emergency medical services personnel were also included on the no jail list. I almost want to see, I'm almost inclined to want to ask, is this a hoax? Like, is this for real what I'm reading right now? Whew. In addition of eliminating cash bail for hundreds of criminal offenses, as many as 900 inmates are being released from jail under the law changes. And they'll just blend right back in with society. In recent days, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio has stationed workers on Rikers Island to dole out gifts of all departing inmates, carrying all of taxpayer purchase rewards, including... This is crazy. I had to stop right quick because I couldn't believe what I was about to read. But let me continue reading. Like, wait until y'all hear this. Carrying all of the taxpayer purchase rewards, including $25 debit cards, Mets tickets, free transit passes, move-it tickets, and various gift cards has become such a burden that the city is working to purchase drawstring bags so criminals can pack their prizes out more easily, according to the New York Post. There are even plans in the works to kick in some prepaid cell phones as a part of the New York Soft on Crime criminal justice reform law changes. Over $500,000 has been used to purchase additional items such as winter coats, the New York Post reported. The Steve Madden Shoe Company has also donated footwear to the cause. Although de Blasio originally touted the gifts as an incentive to get people to show up to court, they're now being bestowed upon all exiting criminals, including those who have wrapped up their sentences and have no further court hearings in connection with their latest round of offenses. The city is using taxpayers' dollars not only to shower criminals with gifts, but also to pay the workers from nonprofit groups that are doling everything out to them. The program will expand beyond boundaries of Rikers to all city courthouses during the week of January 6th. It's a sad state of affairs when the city bends over backwards to reward criminals instead of protecting the victims of the crimes, one law enforcement source told the paper. What's next? Free limo service back home? As many as 15,000 inmates are expected to rake in the prizes supplied by the incentive program, according to the New York Post. 2020 is going to be the year of the perp, one law enforcement source told the paper. I had to pause the video right quick just to make sure what I was reading was indeed true. But sure enough, if you go to Google and you type in New York reform law, it's a bunch of articles that popped up that have been posted probably within the last day or so, talking about this new law that New York has implemented, and people are pissed, and rightfully so, about it. I cannot believe what I just read. The reason why I also stopped in the mid-sentence is because I had to make sure that what I was reading actually was true. But unfortunately, it is. They are. Wow, this is just. I cannot believe what I just read. I know I usually say I'm not shocked about anything, but this is taking it too far. If y'all live in New York, and I know I have some subscribers that live in New York, y'all better find a way to protect yourselves, especially since New York is very hard on owning or carrying a firearm. Like, they are literally, it's like opening the doors to Arkham Asylum and letting all the villains from the Batman lore just waltz right on out of there. Like I said, I'm thinking I'm just doing a story just on this guy right here. But it opened up a can of worms to this whole New York reform law thing. This is crazy. That is insane. I can't wait to see what the comments are going to be down below when it comes to what I just read for y'all. And on that note, I'm going to end the video. I'll talk to y'all in the next one.